Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the class of Global Marketing Barriers. So, in our today's class, we are going to discuss the meaning of global marketing barriers or the meaning of international marketing barriers, and we are also going to study about the types of barriers which are being faced or which has been problems for the companies in an international market or in global market. So before going into the types, so first we all should understand what is barrier. So do you all know the meaning of the barrier? Yes. Do you all know the meaning of barrier?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir. If it is, please tell me.
Yes, I think there's obstacles that prevent movement or access.
Yes, it is nothing but the problems. In simple, we call them as problems, correct?
Yes, sir.
So in every business, there are certain problems which are faced by the marketer or the business people or by the businesses, correct? So today we are going to understand what are the barriers when we speak about international marketing or global marketing. So global marketing is more than simply selling a product internationally. So that's what I said you. It includes the whole process of planning, producing, placing, and promoting the company's products worldwide or sometimes in a few countries. So large businesses often have offices in foreign countries. So they make offices in different countries in whichever they are trying to plan to do the business, and but with the help of expansion of the internet, even small companies can reach customers throughout the world. This is what we call it as global marketing. Is it clear?
Not audible, sir. Not audible, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now I'm visible. Okay. So this is what is called as a global marketing. So generally, we all should understand that there are certain barriers even in international marketing. Okay. So what are the barriers which are being again creating a problem, okay, to the business. Here you can see there are certain problems which are being faced by the companies in different markets. Okay, the first one is cultural and social barriers. So now we all know that different countries have different cultures and different societies.
Slideshow is not visible, sir.
Problem. Now is it visible?
Yes, now it is visible, sir.
So the first one is social and cultural barriers. The second one is political barriers. Every country has a different political system, correct? So, and all countries have different political systems, all countries have different political policies. So, some of the policies may be very much acceptable, or some of the policies may create a hindrance for our business in those countries. So, that's why we even call as political barriers. Next one is tariffs and restrictions. So, tariffs are nothing but the taxes. Okay. And there are even certain restrictions, what we call them as export restrictions. So you cannot export goods and services to few countries. And next one is boycotts. There are even standards, anti-dumping penalties, monetary barriers, administrative policies, considerable diversities, norms and ethics challenge, tourism and racism, and other different difficulties. So these are the different difficulties which are being faced by the companies in international markets. So now we are going to study about all these international barriers. Okay, the first one is social and cultural barrier. So you all are aware that every country has different culture, correct? So our Indian country, our country has a different culture. If you compare it with Western countries or any other countries, they are totally different. So our Indian tradition is totally different. So that is again the problem. So we have different societies and we have different rules and regulations which we follow in our society, correct? So that is the first one, that is cultural and social forces can restrict international trade. So now what is happening in India? People are very much habituated with the Western country styles, correct? Nowadays, if you go to villages and if you go to towns, what people will do is they will start speaking about you people have changed a lot. Our Indian tradition has changed. People started adopting the Western countries culture, correct? And what people want, what the people of this latest generation they say is, you all are outdated, you all are using outdated goods. So these all are the latest goods which are in trend. So this is the general conversation between the old people and young people, correct? You all are there?
Yes, sir, yes.
Okay. So, however, country's culture consists of its general concept and values and tangible items such as food, clothing, building, etc. And the country's social forces include family, education, religion, custom, etc. And selling products from one country to another is sometimes difficult if the culture of two countries differ significantly. So now culture matters a lot. The second point, the second barrier is again political barrier. The political climate of the country plays a major impact on international trade. So whenever there is a change in a political party, we all are aware that again there are changes in policies. Again, they come up with the new rules and regulations, and they frame new laws. So this again, political imbalance is one of the biggest barrier for international business. And the political violence of the country may change the attitudes towards the other countries at any time. And its impact can create an unfavorable atmosphere for international business from one country to another country. So now we all are aware about the political clash between India and Pakistan, correct? So previously we had we were exporting few goods to Pakistan, we were importing few goods from Pakistan, but now everything is stopped because of what? Because of the political factors. Okay. Now I'll give you a simple example how political factors are impacting our businesses. Previously, there were many bazaars called China bazaars. I hope you might have seen even in your towns or even in your cities, China bazaars.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Right. And recently, last year, there was a huge conflict between Indian government and Chinese government, correct? From the point of the Chinese people trying to occupy our land, correct?
Yes.
Have you all seen? Because of those things, what has happened, people started spreading that we are not interested in purchasing the Chinese goods or stop or ban Chinese goods. Correct? Have you all come across such kind of things in your home, in your towns or in your cities? Everywhere in India, we have come across this, correct?
But still it is
still it is there, sir. Yes. We cannot stop it. But still people were speaking that they were asking not to purchase the goods and service or the goods produced in China's or Chinese goods are not to be entertained anymore. And now I'll tell a simple thing. Nearby my home, there was a huge China bazaar. Okay. Suddenly, when this incident took place between, or the conflict when it started between India and China, the person, what he has done, can you guess what that person might have done, the business owner? He has changed the China bazaar into Indian bazaar.
Yes.
So, either border पे conflict हो रहा है और इधर business people, they came to know that people are not interested to purchase Chinese goods because of the conflict. Immediately वो board change कर दिया, China बाजार से Indian बाजार हो गया वो.
Yes.
So that is the impact of political factors on business. किसी कोने में हुआ था वो, किधर है हुआ वो किसको भी मालूम नहीं है. इधर आंध्र प्रदेश, तेलंगाना, कर्नाटक में लोग बोर्ड चेंज कर दिए. So now you can understand the impact of political factors on business. If I don't change my board, if the person might have not changed that China bazaar, or if you have not made that into Indian bazaar, people might have stopped going to his shop.
It can create the unfavorable atmosphere.
So that is what it is saying. The impact can create an unfavorable atmosphere. You're able to understand the importance. You're able to understand the example. The example which I've seen live in my life, that is the impact of political barriers. The next one is tariffs and restrictions. Okay, tariffs and trade restrictions are also the barriers to international trade. Tariffs are nothing but again the tax. Okay, the international barriers of trade from one country to another. So the first one is tariffs. The tariff is nothing but a duty or a tax levied on goods bought into a country. So whenever you are importing goods from other country, you are supposed to pay your tax or duty. And tariffs can be used to discourage foreign competitors from entering a digestive market. So it is again nothing but it is stopping the foreign companies to enter into our market. And the next one is quota. Quota is nothing but it is very simple. The meaning is limit.
Amount.
Quotas, a limit of amount of product that can leave or enter a country. So there is a quota, there is a restriction. And next one is embargoes. It is nothing but the total ban on a certain exports and imports. And the embargo may hamper exporting countries to do businesses in importing countries. So these are again called as the barriers. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
And next one is boycotts. The government boycott is an absolute prohibition on purchase and importation of certain goods from other countries. So now I have boycotted Chinese goods. Okay, if the importing country's government boycotts the import of any items, it will be another barrier for exporting countries. So now we want to boycott Chinese products. So that is again a barrier for the Chinese companies. Okay, you understood what is a boycott?
Yes, sir.
The next one is standards.
Yes, sir.
Yes. The next one is standards. It is nothing but a no tariff barriers of this category include standards to protect health, safety, and product quality. So they are not tariff barriers, but they are the barriers which are imposing standards. So you need to maintain that international standards. In India, there is a board which specifies the quality of the products and services called ISI. Hope you all might have seen this ISI marks on the Indian products, correct? What does it explain? It explains that yes, this product is qualitative, this product is safe, this product has met all the instructions given by the government, maybe in production process, maybe in selling, correct?
Yes.
So this is what we call it as
Yes, sir.
the ISI mark. So it helps us to identify about the product, about the safety, about the quality, right? So that is what we call about the standards. However, if the product quality doesn't match the importing countries' product standards, it will be a barrier for exporting countries to launch or export their products. So now you need to also meet the standards. Now our standards are international level. So your market is global market. Your customers are available throughout the globe. So I'm nowhere interested. I'm not anymore interested in satisfying only Indian customers. I want to even attract and satisfy my foreign customers also. To do that, I need to meet that international standards. Next one is anti-dumping penalties. So here, there is an important word called dumping. Does anyone know what is the meaning of dumping? Anyone has idea? My dear students, if you know, please say yes or else I'll tell you. Okay, fine. So dumping is nothing but whenever a country sells the goods and services in another country that is below their average production cost. Below the average production cost, if at all, if I'm selling the goods and services, then we call it as dumping, and that is what China is doing in India. That is what China is doing in Pakistan. That is what China is doing on all other Asian continents. Right? All other Asian countries, what they are doing is dumping. Dumping is nothing but it is not a good practice. Okay. See, why do people prefer Chinese products? What is the main reason?
Less price.
Less price.
Yes, sir.
They are selling below the average cost of their production. Okay, so that is what we call it as dumping. And now anti-dumping penalties. So it is one of the good, it is one of the kind of good practice where the producer initially sells its products for less than the cost of product. And in order to determine or undermine the competition and take control of the market, and if exporting countries, business players adopt this strategy, they may fall under anti-dumping penalties. If you are doing this, then you are supposed to pay the penalties. Okay? So that is what we call it as anti-dumping